Hey guys, my name's Chris, and I'm interviewing Nik Lentz for MMA On today. How's it going, Nick?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, how are you in the middle of all this chaos? We've had John Jones, maybe getting released from the UFC. We have coronavirus. We've had the police brutality protests. What do you make of 2020?
Um, I don't know. I guess it's a broad question, but I mean, my life has been going pretty good, thank God. I got my kids, I got my career. One of the things a lot of people don't know is I trade in the stock market all the time. I've been doing that for years, and I nailed the crash, so I made a lot of money. So yeah, life is going pretty well for me, but I mean, as far as like the coronavirus and stuff, I mean that's sad. I mean, 100,000 people dead. Then you got these riots and stuff. Probably most of this anger is because of the lockdown. It's because of the the inequality in life. Like stuff like that. So there's a lot of emotions going crazy right now, and it's hard to get a grasp on it. And when you're in a situation like that, you only need something small to set it off, and then we had something big set it off. So yeah, I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon.
hmm And speaking for your 2020, you last fought in January of this year, and you fought a rising prospect, Arnold Allen. When do you think you're gonna get back into the octagon? Do you think you might take a short notice fight, maybe on Fight Island?
Well, I can't take a short notice fight because in that fight I got poked in the eye, and my eye is still damaged, so I still can't see correctly.
hmm
And I'm trying to work through that right now.
Yeah.
I still have double vision. In the fight, in the end of the second and the whole third round, I saw like three Arnold Allens. So it was a very difficult situation to deal with, and I thank God I can actually see straight now. Like if I look at the camp, like I'm looking at you on the picture, I can actually see. But if I look down here, I have two hands and stuff. So because my eyes are not tracking correctly, so I might have
hmm
to get surgery to adjust my eyeballs and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with that yet. But
hmm
so I don't think they would give me a short notice fight because I couldn't pass the stupid eye test. But besides that, I've been training. I just got back into the gym. Been doing a lot of just running, stuff like that, what I could do. And overall, I'm hoping to get back in the cage before the end of August.
hmm
I mean, I felt like the last fight went fine. I felt like I still beat him in the third round, even though I was seeing double. It was like out of an anime or some shit. And and yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate, and like you said, like I mean, uh, just bad luck, I guess.
hmm And just to clarify, you haven't had surgery since that fight on your eye?
No, no, because well, I'm trying to see if it will heal. What happened? I have nerve damage in my eye, in the back of my eye, so
hmm
my eye is paralyzed essentially, and so that's supposed to turn back on, and it's just really slow. And so
hmm
if it turns up back on all the way, and then the eye just doesn't move all the right direction, then they can go in and take your eyes out and adjust them and move them a little bit, and then But I would rather not have my eyes being adjusted.
Yeah.
That's a pretty serious thing to deal with, and there's risk to that kind of surgery. So I really, if possible, I would like to have it heal on its own. Because you're risking
hmm
going blind if they start messing with your eyes.
Yeah. And does the U I don't know if the UFC like pays for all the surgeries, or do you have to pay for it out of your pocket? Because I know with some post-fight injuries, the UFC, I'm guessing that they pay for it. But you know, regarding your like, if you were to have eye surgery, would they help you pay for it, or would you have to pay out of it from your own pocket?
No, no. Anyone who fights in the UFC is covered under the insurance that is mandatory by having the event. So they couldn't even it would be illegal for them to have an event without having insurance. And so they have that, and then there's accident insurance and stuff. So yeah, I have no complaints about how the UFC has dealt with my stuff. They've always been very quick to help me. So I have no issue there.
Mm-hmm. And regarding money, like I just wanted to know, like, how long have you been trading in the stock market, and what got you into pursuing that stuff?
I've been trading pretty much all day, because I trade from because I only trade options contracts, so I don't need to be, but I trade from 9:30 to 4 every day, and I've been doing that for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I obviously, if training is in the morning, I do some stuff in the morning and then go train and come back, and depending on what I have going on, I adjust the schedule. The original reason I got into the stock market was because I wanted to have control of my own destiny. You know what I mean? And being a professional fighter has awarded me a decent life, but I obviously cannot fight forever. And the idea of me going to get a normal job is, it's not going to work. Who's going to hire me? I've never had a normal job. Like, I'm just going to walk in and to a bank, say, hey, will you hire me? They're going to say, no, you're 36 years old and you've never had a normal job. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And so I was looking at maybe starting my own gym or my own online training stuff, and I was doing really well at that, and it all sounded really good, but I didn't really have like a passion for it. Like, it wasn't something that excited me. It was more like work. And I started trading, and it was something that I really enjoyed, and I was naturally gifted at. And when I really got serious about it, the first year I got serious about it, I pretty much like 5 times my account. And so I realized that if I was willing to put in the work, because trading is actually extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. It's a mind-numbing amount of work every day to be ready for it and to do it all the time if you want to do it at a professional level. And but it's something I like, and it works, and it's good in situations like this, especially with like coronavirus.
Perfect. Perfect.
With them taking people's jobs away, even with anarchy in streets and stuff. And that's one of the reasons I got into the stock market too, because I never wanted to have someone else be able to control my life so easily. And I never thought like we'd have a global pandemic, but when you think about it, there's a lot of people that work their whole life setting up, getting ready for a business, and they opened like around the world the day that the government shut everything down, and it just destroyed everything they worked for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a messed up situation to be in, to work so hard and to just have it taken away from you for something that's no fault of your own. And I just don't want to ever be in that situation. I always want to have control of my own life. I always want to have control of so my kids don't have to grow up like I did. So they're always safe, so they're always well taken care of. And the stock market is one of the best ways to do that if you are willing to put in ungodly amounts of work and time into it.
Mm-hmm. And to add on to that, with small businesses, they got affected by the coronavirus. They have to shut down if they're not deemed essential. And, with the riots too, like, when the world's starting to get back to normal, when businesses are starting to reopen, we've seen riots and looting, destroy those businesses even worse. So, it hurts me to see everything in the world right now. And
Go ahead.
Go on. Sorry.
No. That's another thing. You just come out of a coronavirus and something with the police happens that you had no part of, and all of a sudden they come and burn your store down. I mean, there's a lot of things in the world that people are upset about, but when you go around and and you're frustrated and you take it out on other people, a lot of innocent people get hurt in that situation, and so it's a bad situation all around. And yeah, that's I mean, you couldn't write up a better reason of why I got into the stock market for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And talking about even more money, Dana White's having some issues with fighters like John Jones and Jorge Masvidal, and they want more money. Personally, I feel like they should get paid more. I feel like you guys should get paid more because the money that the UFC is bringing in with every pay-per-view, with all the money coming in, they should get paid more. But so, what's your thoughts on it? And do you think John Jones is trying to call his bluff, or do you think he asked for too much money? And whose side are you on in this dispute?
Well, I'm on nobody's side really, because there's a lot that goes. Like all things in life, it's a lot more complicated than is someone making more money versus someone ripping them off. Like it's not that's not really like the situation. There's a complicated situation, and like earlier in my career, I probably would have been one of the people that said, like, yeah, I think I should get more money because I train harder than a lot of these guys. I work harder. I sacrifice my health. I sacrifice my social life. I diet all the time. I sacrifice so much stuff for fighting. I feel like I should get paid more, right? But now, as I've gotten older and I've gotten and I'm an adult and I'm a father, you have to just kind of accept where you are in life and what it's given you. You know what I mean? And you can complain and you can want more money, and if you're worth it, then the UFC will probably pay you. You know what I mean? I don't think the UFC is outwardly stingy or anything. I mean, they've made a lot of people very rich. So I mean, they made a lot of people very famous. So I don't think I think there's some kind of middle ground where some people should get paid more, some people. I would like it if they didn't let so many people in the UFC, and like took care of the more of the people that are already there, without shoving in these random people that will be here for like, a year and then gone, but it's a complicated business, and to put it down to say, like, if I'm on the UFC or I'm on John Jones' side, I mean, I don't even know John Jones. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I never said two words to the guy, so I can't be on his side. I mean, the UFC UFC allowed me to develop a life. I mean, sure, I probably didn't get paid as much as people that I'm a better fighter than. I probably didn't get paid as much as some people would think is reasonable. Yet, it allowed me to create a life for myself. So I have no issues with the UFC there either. So I want people to get paid. Jorge Masvidal is one of my friends. We live in the same area. We used to train at the same gym. We used to be in the same damn group text. And so I want Jorge Masvidal to make all the money in the world. So if you ask me, like, how much he should get paid, I mean, he's been doing this for so long, and he's sacrificed a lot, and it comes from a very humble background. So I want him to make as much money as possible, so when he's done fighting, he can take care of his kids and stuff like that. So the more I don't think it's a zero-sum game. I don't think you have to be against the UFC. I don't think you have to be for the fighters. I don't think you have to be like against the union. I don't think you have to be one of these people that goes on and preaches about unions all the time. I don't think you have to be in any of that. And I think there is a middle ground. And this MMA game is new. It feels like it's been around a long time, but in general, how long has it really been? 15 years? It's a small amount of time where we're talking about the UFC, where we're talking about what, is actually happening, where it actually mattered. And so there's going to be a lot of mistakes, and there's going to be a lot of things that people look back on and say, I can't believe people fought for that little amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, before I got into the UFC, I was fighting for $200 in some bar in the middle of nowhere, So
yeah.
So what I make now is a lot more than that. So, it's better in a way. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we last interviewed Mark Hunt, and Hunt is very anti-UFC. So yeah, he provided a lot of insight into why is just not paying enough fighters. But I'm glad to see it from another perspective, from a middle ground perspective. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
The next question I had for you is, with BJ Penn, were you like officially scheduled to fight him, or did the fight was the fight like made official, or what went on? What went on with that?
Yeah, I was supposed to fight him a bunch of times, and I signed the papers every time, and there was always some issue, either he didn't want to sign them, or like he had some kind of law issue or some other kind of thing. I mean, to tell you the truth, I like to rag on BJ a lot just because he's a person that tries to take advantage of people he thinks he has power over. He has no power over me. He has nothing. He doesn't even have the truth on his side on anything he's ever said about me. He's a liar and a cheat. And so when these fights were getting scheduled, like it mattered to me. Like I wanted to beat him up. I wanted to get paid. I thought it was good for my career. I thought it was good for just I wanted to smash the guy. But the second he got cut from the UFC, I haven't thought of him since. You know what I mean? Like you just brought him up. I haven't thought of BJ since like he never enters my brain. Like I actually like forgot he existed until you just said something about it. So
yeah.
So yeah, I have not much to say about him. I mean, I hope the guy gets his life back together. It probably won't happen, but as far as if we were supposed to fight, yeah, we were supposed to fight a lot of times, and it just never happened, and it had nothing to do with me because. You can ask Sean Shelby, you can ask whoever. It's not difficult to fight with Nik Lentz because I've never said no to anything, even to my detriment. Even when I'm hurt or when I shouldn't be fighting or I was overweight or I was out doing something stupid, when they text me and they say, hey, Nick, you want to fight? I just always say yes. That's just how I've been my whole life. So yeah, that's what happened with that, and yeah, like I said, I don't even know what the hell he's doing now, but hopefully he's alive somewhere.
And I think the UFC, booted him from their the promotion after like a nightclub fight incident. Are you sad to see that got him kicked out of the UFC instead of you maybe getting a knockout win, sending him, to because if you won that fight, then he probably would have been out of the UFC and maybe retired. So are you just sad to see that you're not the one that, kicked him from the UFC?
Maybe a year ago before the fight got canceled and before he got kicked out, yeah. I mean, I wanted to beat him up. I think he's a liar. I think he's a bad person. But now, I mean, you have time to cool off. You have time to think about it. I mean, I had hanging BJ Penn's, career corpse in my house is not on my list of things to do. Yeah. It means nothing. It means nothing to me. You know what I mean? Like I have, I think about my kids. I think about my wife. I think about my family. I couldn't care less, and to a degree, even when I'm done with this fighting thing, as much as I'm in awe of how much people respect me and, that people come up to me and want to take pictures with me, like that's a very humbling experience. But when I'm done with this game, I'm more interested in the type of person I've become and the father that I am than in the legacy I leave in the fight game. You know what I mean? Because there will always be new people and new fighters, and they always forget about the old ones. Like they're you think that they don't, and you think that you're going to be the one that was special. But there's going to be some other kid out there that comes in and he's just as good on the microphone, or he's just as popular, or he signs just as many deals, or whoever it is, and they're going to forget about you. So you don't want to have your whole personality and stuff wrapped up in that situation. And, not to bring up BJ, but you can see the consequences, what happens when your whole life revolved around what you were in the cage. And when that is taken away from you, it can spiral out of control very fast if you didn't develop your personality and your life outside of the game.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And the last question I had for you, I didn't want to take much of your time, but your nickname is the Carney. I just wanted to ask if there's like a story behind how you got that nickname.
Yeah, there's a story about it. I mean, for a long time, this was before I got into the UFC, everyone always told me I needed a nickname. And I said, it is not only bad luck, it is sacrilege to pick your own nickname, right? There's enough pit bulls in the world, like I'm never going to pick a nickname until someone gives me one, right? Because that's how you get it. You never pick your own nickname. And so I went to Japan for a fight, and after the fight was over, I went out to the Japanese arcades, and I won so many freaking stuffed animals and action figures and all kinds of stuff that this was before anyone knew who I was fighting. And even though I was good and I was winning all the time, nobody knew who I was. But the Japanese people were so in awe that this white person came and won all these games, because you're not supposed to win them. And I just am naturally good at the stupid claw games, and you got the little key and you move it up and you push the thing off and I won thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And so I was like carrying all this stuff, and I walked into the Japanese hotel, and an old Japanese woman came up to me and she said that I was like a carnival freak because because I was so good at the games. And that's what she meant was, like how the carnival games are rigged, but the person who runs the games can win all the toys because they know how it's rigged. And so that's where I got my nickname from.
Yeah, honestly, I would have to say that's probably one of the most original nicknames. I talked to Frank Camacho, and somebody just named him like the Crank, because they thought his name was Crank or something. But I would have to say that that's one of my favorite nicknames by far, the Carney. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, thanks, Nick, for joining us. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great night of fights tonight, with Spencer and Nunez. But yeah, thanks for joining, man.
Anytime, guys. Talk to you later.